Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about modeling of the one-dimensional heat equation. So how does an heat equation is given by? Heat equation is given by this. It is nothing but you do u with respect to t equal to a square, where a square is some constant, into delta square u by delta x square. So here my x and t are the independent variables. So if L is the length of the rod, then x will go from 0 to L, and t is the time parameter. And what is my u? U is nothing but it's a variable which depends on x and t. Now this heat equation is also sometimes called as a diffusion equation. Why diffusion equation? First of all, what do you mean by a diffusion? It's a movement of what? So it's a movement of a substance from a high concentration to a low concentration. And whenever you heat something, so obviously, so how your heat flows? Your heat always flows from the high temperature to low temperature, because whenever you heat something, the particles will always, so the particles which are heated, they will always move towards the particles which are less heated. So heat always flows from high temperature to low temperature, therefore heat diffuses, like so. Therefore heat is an example of a diffusion. So therefore this equation, heat equation, is also called as a diffusion equation, and this a square is called as diffusivity constant. It depends upon the material which we are using. You will see what is your a square later on, but yeah, so that's what my heat equation is. As one can see, if you see my previous lecture, if I want to characterize this differential equation, then this is a second order, because the second derivative is coming into picture. It is the second order, it's a linear and homogeneous partial differential equation. So make sure you are convinced that this is linear, homogeneous, second order partial differential equation. You can see my previous lectures for this. Suppose, my x is what? My x is ranging from 0 to L. What is L? L is the length of the rod. What is time? T? T stands for the time. So what is u of x comma t? It gives me the temperature at the given position x and the given time t. So suppose if I say, suppose I have a rod of length 2, and if I say what is u of 1 comma 5, that means I am asking at point 1, if suppose this is length of rod 2, so at point 1, when I am at this point, when I am this point 1, what is the temperature over here after 5 minutes? So whatever this number is nothing but it is the temperature at position 1 after 5 minutes. If I say what is u of half comma 6, that means at position half and after 6 minutes what will be the temperature. So u of xt means is the temperature at the given point and at the given time. So that's one thing. Okay, so now before deriving this equation, we will assume that our rod is a very nice rod. Nice rod as in we will have some assumptions on our rod. So what are those assumptions? So the first assumption is, my first assumption is that my rod is uniform. Uniform as in, some people also call it as homogeneous. That means what? The density, specific heat, thermal conductivity, the cross-sectional areas which I take of the rod, all these things are constant. So since all these things are constant, so I will call it as the uniform rod or a homogeneous rod. Now saying cross-sectional as constant means what? So suppose if I have this rod over here, it's a uniform rod. That means if I take a cross section over here, or if I take a cross section over here, all the cross sections are same. It's not like somewhere I am getting a small cross section, somewhere I am getting a bigger cross section. Such things are not happening. Everywhere I am getting the cross sections, I'm getting the same cross sections. So that's what this means. So all these things are constant. That means my rod is uniform or homogeneous. What is my second assumption? My second assumption is my rod is insulated laterally. Laterally means what? My heat will always, so if this is my rod, my heat will always flow from here to here, from left to right, and it will not go outside the rod. Means they're insulated. Means heat will neither go in or neither the heat will come in. So from laterally, it's insulated. So heat will not go from here. So heat will always travel like this. So here there is some temperature, it's always going from left left to right. So it won't go laterally. That's what the second assumption means. And what do you mean by my third assumption? The third assumption is my rod is sufficiently thin. So what does this mean is, wherever I take the cross section, suppose if I am taking a cross section over here, so what is the cross section? It will be some disc like this. Because the rod is thin, what happening is temperature is same everywhere on this disc. Everywhere the temperature is same. If I take a cross section over here, so this is a cross section. So here also my temperature at every point is same. So since the temperature is same at every point, I will only look at this point, which is nothing but the point on x-axis. So once I know the temperature at this point, the same temperature is there over this cross section. If I know the temperature at this point of the x-axis, if I take this as my x-axis, if I know this point, if I know the temperature at this point of the x-axis, then I know the temperature at whole of this disc. Which disc? The disc obtained by taking the cross section passing through this point. So because of the third assumption, if I know the temperature at the points over here, the points on the x-axis, means I know the temperature everywhere. Everywhere means the every points on that cross section. So these are the three assumptions which I'll be taking for my rod. So once I have this nice assumption, let's go on deriving the equation. Okay, so to derive the equation, I'll be using law of conservation of energy. Okay, before that I'll be using the equation of heat energy. Second thing I'll be using is law of conservation of energy, and the third thing that we are going to use is Fourier law of heat conduction. Okay, so what I will do is, you take any, so if you take this cross section over here, so suppose it is at the distance x, so this is my x, and you take a cross section very next to it. So this is what, this is x plus delta x. So if this is my x, this is my x plus delta x. So you take this cross section and we will try to see the behavior of heat transfer over this segment. And then since the segment was arbitrary, we can conclude over the whole rod. So that's what the idea is. So we'll try to see the behavior of the heat over this small segment. Okay, so let me enlarge this. So if I enlarge this, this is what the segment was. Okay, so I mean they are very close segments, but just so that one can see it properly, I am just enlarging the figure. So this was my x, this is my x plus delta x, this is the rate, this is the heat coming in from here, and from here the heat is going out. Okay, and this distance is how much? This is the length, you can see it is delta x. Okay, so the first thing, what is the heat energy of this segment? Over this segment, what is the heat energy? So if you have seen before, it's well and good. If not, then this is the equation for calculating the heat energy. So what is, if Q is my heat energy, it is nothing but the product of mass into specific heat into the change in temperature. So if you know the mass of the object, if you know the specific heat of the object, and if you take that change in temperature, then that will give me the heat energy of that object. Okay, so if I do the same thing over here, what do I get? What is the heat energy of the segment? It is mass into specific heat. I am denoting my specific heat by C into the change in temperature, because here U is my temperature. Okay, so but what is mass? Mass is nothing but, if I know the density and volume, then mass is nothing but density into volume. So rho is my density, V is the volume. Okay, now what is the volume? So if I want to find the volume of this, if I know this area of cross section into this length will give me the volume. So if I know the area of something and if I know the length, then I will get the volume of this object. So the same thing is happening over here. If this is my area of cross section and this is my length, which is delta x, this product will give me the volume. So what is V? It is nothing but A into delta x into C into delta U. So what is this? This is rho A C delta x delta U. Okay, so let me call this as equation 1. We will need this later. Okay, so that's what the heat energy is there in the segment. Okay, now the second thing I will need is law of conservation of energy. Now what does law of conservation of energy says? Law of conservation of energy. What does this says? It says that the change in energy in the segment, the change in energy of the segment is equal to the change, okay, let me write it down. The change in heat energy of segment over the time change in time t is equal to the rate at which the heat comes in minus the rate at which the heat goes out. So this is Ri means the rate of inflow of heat coming in, Ro means the rate of heat going out. So that's what it is. It is nothing but change of heat energy, change in heat energy over the segment over the given time t. So that's what the law of conservation of energy says. So what is this quantity? It is the change in heat energy. So I know that the heat energy is this. So what is it? This is nothing but rho AC delta x into del by u by del by t, because change over the time. So my delta is nothing but del by u del by t. Now question is, what is Ri minus Ro? So to find Ri and Ro, I will need Fourier law. So what does the Fourier law of heat conduction says? It says that the rate of heat transfer through a material. So here this is my material. So because I want to see what is Ri, the rate of inflow. So if this is my material, I want to see what is the rate of heat transfer. So rate of heat transfer, so let me call as Ri. So rate of heat transfer Ri is proportional to the negative of the gradient in the temperature. So my U is the temperature to the area. So Ri is proportional to the minus A into del by U by del by X. Or you can say this is nothing but del by U by del by X of X comma T, because this point is nothing but X comma T. Or and if you want to bring into constant into picture, this is nothing but minus Ka into del by U by del by X, where K is called as thermal conductivity. Yes, K is nothing but thermal conductivity. So this is what your Fourier law says. So if I apply Fourier law to this, what will I get? So if you apply Fourier law, so see, our aim was to find Ri minus Ro. So because of this Fourier law, what is my Ri? My Ri is nothing but minus Ka del by U by del by X at X comma T. And what is my outflow? Same thing, minus Ka del by U by del by X at X plus delta X comma T, because it is outflow is at the distance X plus delta X. So that is my Ri and that is my Ro because of the Fourier law. As you can see in our case, del by U by del by X is negative, because our heat is flowing from high temperature to low temperature. So if you, this is nothing but negative, because this is nothing but limit H going to 0, U of X plus delta X comma T minus delta X. This is what del by del by X, right? And as my heat is going from high to low temperature, this term is what? Negative, because this is less value, right? Because it's going from high to low temperature. So this term is negative, and so Ra becomes positive. Similarly, my Ro is positive. I mean, just a small observation. Okay, now, so by law of heat of energy, what do I have? I have, this is rho AC delta X del by U by del by T. This is nothing but my Ri minus Ro. So minus Ka del by U by del by X X comma T minus, this is already minus sign, so minus minus plus Ka del by U by del by X at X plus delta X comma T. So this is what I have. Now if you do some simple calculations, this is nothing but rho C delta X. Let me write U suffix T. I am cancelling it out A from everywhere, and I am writing this term first, and I am taking out K common. So this is nothing but del by U by del by X X plus delta X comma T minus del by U by del by X X comma T. So I am writing this term first, this term later. I took out K common outside. You take out A also outside, but then A and A gets cancelled away. So A goes away from the picture. Okay, so what do I have? So I have, so if you take this, so what is del by U by del by T? It is K upon density into C into del by U by del by X into X plus delta X comma T minus del by U by del by X into X comma T whole divided by delta X. As your delta X goes to 0, I have del by U by del by T K upon rho C. What is this? This is nothing but double derivative. This is nothing but del by square U by del by X square. And usually we call our A square as K upon rho C So that's why I told you initially your A square is nothing but it's a diffusivity constant and it depends upon the material. So once you have a material, you know the specific heat of the material, you know the density, you know thermal conductivity, and through this that ratio we call it as the A square, and therefore your heat equation becomes del by U by del by T is equal to A square into del by square U upon del by X square. And this is how we model a one-dimensional heat equation. So that's what the proof is. I hope it's clear. So one last point I would like to say, there is something called as initial and boundary conditions. So what are these initial and boundary conditions? So usually some initial condition means what? The initial temperature distribution of the rod is given. So for example, if I say U of x comma 0 is f of x, means what? At initially means time is 0, the process is not started. So initially I am giving some temperature to the rod. Like for example, initially I am heating a rod. So you keep it above a candle or whatever, you keep it above the gas stove and you heat the rod. That means what? Initially you are giving some temperature. So if I am saying U of x 0 is equal to f of x means what? Suppose my f of x is something like this. Right? So this is my f of x. As my x is changing, this is the graph. Or let me take a simple graph. Suppose this is my what f of x is. Okay, so this is what my f of x is. Let's take the simplest one. So what is u of x 0? It is nothing but my f of x. That means what? If I ask you at 0, what is u of 0 0? Means here, what is the temperature initially? Over this cross section, what is the temperature? So what is u of 0 0? It is f of 0. What is f of 0? 0 only. So initially there is no temperature, it's 0. If I ask you what is u of, suppose the rod is of length 2, what is u of 2 comma 0? This is suppose 0 say 2, this is 1, this is 1 comma 1. That means this is y equal to x line. If I ask you what is u of 2 comma 0, so u of 2 comma 0 is nothing but f of 2. So what is f of 2? It's again 0. So here also the temperature is how much? Temperature is 0. Suppose if I ask you what is u of 1 comma 0, means at 1, what is the temperature on this cross section? Our rod is thin. So saying the temperature at x equal to 1 means the temperature will be same at the whole cross section because our rod is thin. Okay, so what is u of 1 comma 0? It is f of 1. What is f of 1? 1. So initially here over this the temperature is 1 degree or whatever, 1 Fahrenheit, whatever. So that's what this means. So initially some temperature will be given to you and we express that in terms of a function, in terms of f of x. So we will see this many times. And what do you mean by boundary condition? Means the temperature of the rod at the boundaries are given. Means at the end points it will be given. Like sometimes you will see these things. That means what? At x equal to 0 and any time t, the temperature will be u1 of t. It will be some function of t. And at the end, when my x is L, so at the end my temperature will be something, say u2 of t. So it will be some functions of t. Sometimes you might also see that like these conditions are given. Initially it is u1 of t, means u of 0 comma t, and the rate of change with respect to the variable x, the distance or the rod, w by w x is u2 of t. So like this some boundary conditions will be given to you. I will take some examples over this maybe in my next lectures, and you will see such kind of boundary conditions in the picture. So typically this is how some heat equation problem, one of the examples, this is how your heat problem will look like. So some heat equations will be given to you. So here your a square is 9, so your a is 3, L is 2 means you have a rod of length 2 initially. So at the starting and at the end the temperature is 0, and initially how much temperature is giving? I am giving the temperature x square. So anyway, so my main goal was to make sure the derivation of heat equation is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you.